Good evening. Welcome back. I'm Lynn Carmen Day, the Superintendent of Schools in Upland, and I just wanted to say that we're really thrilled to have students back in campus on August 23rd, next Monday. We're going to come back and have some community updates for you this year, and this is the first of the year. I'd like to, before we do anything else, I'd just like to take a moment to really acknowledge that I know our community is full of mixed feelings about returning to school. Many are apprehensive with the rise in COVID again, and that's understandable. And we want you to know that we've done a lot of preparation to keep our students safe. I know many have mixed feelings about masks and the guidance that you're about to hear about. And I just want to acknowledge that this is a time of a lot of differing feelings and a lot of challenges and a lot of concern. I know one thing we do have in common and that is we want the best thing for our students. So as we go through and give you an update on how school's going to open, we look forward to your openness and to your enthusiasm as we head into the new school year. All right, let's start out with Dr. Canal. Can you give us some updates on our guidance?
Thank you, Dr. Carmen Day. We're excited to announce that, to welcome our students back and to discuss a little bit about what is the same and what has changed. So we will continue with our protocols when it comes to reporting at the school sites, any concerns that I shared with COVID related. We will continue our communication protocols where campuses will share contacts with families and associations, and we will continue to notify the health department of any concerns COVID related. We'll continue the same protocols in isolating students. We will continue with our safety teams and safety plans, COVID prevention plans for each of the school sites and one for the district office. So those items are staying the same, as well as continuing our education of our students and our staff in terms of hand hygiene, staying at home when they're sick, limiting non-essential visitors on campus. Those are some of the items that will remain the same. And I'll emphasize that if someone's home, if someone's sick, is not feeling well, we emphasize to stay at home and get well. So I want to make sure that we emphasize that portion of it. Some items that are new, which I'm gonna cover in more detail in the future slides, will be about masking, modifying quarantines for our county, and a decision tree. In terms of masking, on the next slide, will inform you that masks will be required for everyone indoors. Masking will be optional outdoors. Persons exempt from face coverings due to medical condition must wear non-restricted alternatives, such as a face shield with a drape. Schools must enforce guidelines for safety reasons and offer alternative learning opportunities for those students that are unable to comply with the mask mandate. Each school site does have a form that you can fill out requesting a medical exemption form. So please see your school site for that. On the next slide, we cover isolation for positive confirmed cases, regardless of vaccination status. If the child is symptomatic, we're asking that they isolate for 10 days since symptoms started. For someone who is asymptomatic, isolate for 10 days since the positive test was received. So this is for isolation purposes. For quarantine guidelines, in the next slide, you'll see these have changed. For quarantining, on the next slide, vaccinated. If there are no symptoms, there is no quarantine. So for vaccinated folks, if you're vaccinated and you do have symptoms, you will follow the guidelines for unvaccinated persons. To the right of this same slide, you'll see for unvaccinated. Masks are worn during exposure, which means it's a modified 10-day quarantine. We will continue in-person attendance as long as no symptoms, continue to wear a mask, testing twice per week, but no participation in extracurricular activities. And that is your modified. If no masks were worn during the exposure, then the child must quarantine from home. And it will end after 10 days with no testing, after 7 days if tested at day 5 or later, and we will continue to monitor those symptoms for 14 days. These are the modified quarantine guidelines for our county. We have put together a decision tree and that has been sent out to families to assist with making the decision in terms of, do I send my child to school? What do I do if they are demonstrating some symptoms? Again, I'll pause here and emphasize once again that if someone is sick, as always, we will want them and prefer them to stay at home and get well and rest. So this is regardless of if COVID or not. So this is following our typical Upland illness policy. So communication was sent out again to families via ARIS communication, or the safety of our students and our staff continues to be our highest priority. And as always, we will continue to follow and pivot as guidelines change. Thank you. Up next is our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Salgado.
Thank you, Dr. Canal. As we received our updated guidance from the California Department of Public Health, they did not address courses such as band, choir, and sports. However, they have indicated that they will be issuing additional guidance. So until that guidance comes forward, we will continue to follow what was in place before this new guidance came out, which means that band and choir classes will continue to practice outside. For choir, masks will be optional since they'll be outside. And while participating in indoor sports, masks will need to be worn not only during practice, but also during competition. And this is a change from where we were at in the spring. But because of the mask mandate, any activity indoors will be required to wear masks. As we welcome everyone back, we are excited to share that classes will begin on Monday, August 23rd. We are also very excited to announce that for nutrition services, breakfast and lunch will be free for all students. So all students will be able to participate in the free meals during the school year. We are asking that you complete the education benefits form. We've formally called that, it was also known as the school funding form. It is available on our district website, and you can also get it from your student's school. In terms of transportation, busing applications are available at your student's school, and the information for bus safety will be included with the application. We will turn the time over to our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Bowman.
Thank you, Ms. Salgado. Good evening, Upland community. As our superintendent mentioned, we are so excited to bring students back to in-person learning, and also excited for those families who chose to stay virtually and support you in your virtual learning experience as well. So even though we're back, it's a new normal. And so we're gonna take some of the changes we made last year that kept us safe. And one of those changes is back to school night being virtual. It was last year, and we're gonna keep it virtual this year out of an abundance of caution. Next slide, please. And we are also excited that we will continue our Family Wednesday webinars. They were well attended, and families appreciated the short, concise information given where you can be in your own home receiving the information. Our very first family webinar will be September 8th from 5:30 to 6, and it's about student engagement, strategies to keep our students motivated and engaged as they learn to learn in their new normal.
We are coming off of a year and a half with very unique, different feelings, challenges coming out of this pandemic. And I just want to keep at the very forefront of our mind the idea that we have a lot of support through our school system and through our community partners. So please, as parents and peers, watch out for others. And really, if there are any kinds of signs of depression or anything that you're concerned about, please reach out to our crisis line, reach out to Care Solace. We do have a virtual wellness center that has a lot of amazing resources, and there will be a great deal of need to connect with each other and for us to really show the value of each of our students. So I'm going to wrap it up with just letting you know that our next board meeting is on September 7th, and we will continue with our last year tradition, which was very useful to parents, we've been told, and that is we have forum questions that you can ask on the link here. So with that, I just want to say we are excited to see you on Monday. Continue all of the safety practices that we've all become accustomed to over the last year and a half, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.